Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. Today, I'm your host, Alan, and we are delighted that you've chosen to join us here on this awesome August morning. And one of the things that makes us smile is that we love to connect to so many people through YouTube, Facebook, and all of our other channels. So I encourage you to check out our website, cslcharlotte.org, put in a prayer request, and subscribe. We're always adding something new each and every week. So who are we at CSL Charlotte? Well, we're a New Thought community based on the science of mind. This philosophy was developed in the early 20th century by writer and lecturer Dr. Ernest Holmes. Dr. Holmes was a man on a mission. He combined truths and wisdom from all the world traditions and spiritual paths and created a fresh new way for us to look at ourselves and how we fit into this awesome world. So one of the things that we also like to do here is we are also a diverse community. We're open and affirmative. We don't care about your race, your sexual orientation, or any other physical distinctions, because we are all individualized fruits on the same tree of life. and we recognize that, and we're all here to help each other to grow and to be the best tasting fruit that we can be. So why are we here? Well, it's also we are here to live the science of mind philosophy and to level up our lives so we can inspire other people to level up their lives and create a better world that works for all. So if that sounds great to you, then I encourage you to check out our weekly consciousness meetings that meets on Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So before I pass the mic over to our fabulous leader, I would like to leave you with a thought for today. The ache for home lives in all of us. The safe place where we can go as we are and not be questioned. And that is by Maya Angelou. And with that, I'll pass the mic over to our fabulous, radiant Reverend Rosedale Jones.
Well, he just gave the talk away. Thank you, Alan. That was an awesome quote. So with that being said, welcome to CSL Charlotte. We are the Mind Body Spirit Center. And what we're going to focus on today is guiding ourselves home. So with us guiding ourselves home, first we're going to open our Sunday celebration with my friend and colleague, Dr. Wanda. She's been with me, for about 20 years now. And she's leading us in this awesome prayer, and she knows how to guide herself home. So let's hear her prayer as she guides us home. Dr. Wanda, please pray for us.
Okay, let's take a moment to take a deep breath in. Just let that out. Just center yourself, relax, show up right here, right now. I recognize in this moment and affirm this morning that we are always at home within ourselves. Our bodies are the sacred temples that house our spirits, and our spirits are the threads that connect us to one another and to the infinite. We are never separate, never lacking. We are always one, always whole, always complete. In this truth, I know that as Reverend Rosedale speaks her word today, she always reminds us how to find our way home when the world pulls us in every direction. She guides us to recenter, to return to that still sacred space within the place that never wavers, the place that is always present. I affirm that each person who volunteers each week in support of this platform is grounded, present, and deeply rooted in the center of being. Nothing can pull us away from that divine center. It is our sanctuary, our happy place, our stable foundation that keeps us connected both to the earth beneath, by our feet, and to the heavens above, to inspire us. And I know that today each of us will hear exactly what we need to hear. We will take it in and allow it to shape and enrich our lives. We are supported, we are regenerated, and we are renewed this morning by the living spirit within us and among us. We are home. With a grateful heart, I say thank you for the opportunity to be here, to serve, to listen, and to love. And so it is. Aho.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Dr. Wanda. You started out bringing us home. So thank you so much for that prayer. So with that saying, we got another awesome friend of mine who's been with CSL Charlotte from its inception, making everything all beautiful, the ordination and all that. She's still very instrumental in our community, and every now and then she comes back to make sure we're good to go. So the next voice you will hear is her reading. Now, I know she's learned some things about guiding ourselves home because she's going to tell us a little bit about being yourself, and that's all you can be. You're good at who you are. So with that being said, after that, listen to the song Stronger Than You Know by Fearless Soul. You are stronger than you know and you give yourself credit for. So let's get started on this and let's start making ourselves get the fire. Reverend Sonja, make it do what it do.
Ideals of a Wonderfully Unjustified Life by Reverend Rosedale. Do you think you have more purpose than a mouse does, or a slug, or a thorn bush, or that one sock that always disappears in the dryer? Why do you think you need one to feel content? Why do you chase purpose like it's a prize, when maybe, just maybe, existence itself is the gift? The mouse scurries, the slug slides, the thorn bush pricks. None of them write mission statements. None of them ask, am I enough? And yet they are moving and living. They are part of a great unfolding, and so are you. You keep asking why your work is not enough, why your effort, your care, or your showing up doesn't feel like it counts. There's no real answer because it is enough. It is enough to exist in this world and marvel at it, to watch the moon and have your own beautiful thoughts about it, to feel the love of a beautiful song, to laugh so hard your ribs ache. You don't need to justify that. You don't need to earn it. You are allowed, yes, allowed to just live. Do you ever think things like, I have wants, I have ambitions, I want to dance like no one's watching, I want to eat mangoes in the rain, I want to be wise and ridiculous and deeply kind. But what if I fulfill none of them? What if I never author a book, climb a mountain, or master that sourdough starter? Maybe you can just say, like, that's okay, because I know no matter what, I am wonderful. Not because I did something, not because I proved something, but because I am something. I am a living, breathing, laughing, creating, wondering being. And so are you. You are wonderful, even when you're tired, even when you're doubting, and even when you're just sitting there blinking at the sky. So let us release the pressure. Let us drop that measuring stick. Let us stop trying to be enough and start being alive. Let us marvel. Let us meander. Let us be mice, slugs, thorn bushes, and humans too. And let us say with joy and with truth, I am awesome. I am here, and that is enough. And lastly, a quote by Reverend Rosedale. Let suffice us to say with joy and with truth, I am wonderful. I am here, and that is enough. Because when you live an unjustified life, you create your own happiness. Thank you.
Stronger than you know. Let's take a really quick breather right here and take a nice deep breath with me because we're going to do a 2-minute centering. And as you breathe in, slowly breathe out and let your cells get set. into finding your way home. Because this song, Stronger Than You Know, what it's about, it's really about letting us know that in our hardest times, we are finding more strength than we give ourselves credit for. And here's the thing, it connects us so clearly to today with this guiding ourselves home, because it's never about us wandering somewhere else, or we're not even about worrying about struggling, because we're really never struggling and we're really never wandering. That's what it's really all about, returning home. So it's about realizing that we already have the strength, the courage, the faith to come back home. The thing is to keep returning home. That's the thing. Don't just say a one and done. Oh, I did a little practice. Okay. But you got to stay on it and trust that path. And you know what? Even when the outcome that you're thinking about, you don't even know, it's uncertain. Take that step anyway. See, it encourages us, this song, to let us know we're stronger than what we know, because of the simple fact that it causes me to pause as I'm listening to those beautiful lyrics and breathe, and then I get to align my thoughts and feelings that way. That's another way to return home. Hint, hint. So wiggle your fingers and your toes and, really integrate your mind, body, and spirit together, and then take a few more minutes to breathe. Now embrace the energy in your space, and let's start guiding ourselves home. So let me tell you right away, coming home and connecting with that spirit within us is not about escaping life. It's not about hiding stress. It's not even about remembering all your past not so good things that happened in your life. It's about remembering who you are is enough. Remembering no matter how scattered your thoughts become, or how restless your heart is and how down you feel, you can always return home, because you know you are stronger than you know. So the reading that Sonja read was read so powerfully. So thank you so much, Reverend Sonja. The reading was called Unjustified, Living an Unjustified, Wonderful Life. Because here, it is good to be unjustified. See, a squirrel doesn't have to explain why it gathers nuts, and a thorn doesn't have to apologize for being sharp when they prick you. They don't have to apologize. That's what they do, right? Birds don't justify why they fly, because they simply live out who they are. But what about you? What about me? Are we enough with who we are? Because, look, we've lived this many years. See, humans complicate things. They forget that the truth of them is simple this: you're spiritual beings having human experiences. And if I didn't personally practice several times a day the way I do, I would have a hard time remembering that I am enough. Even in times when I really need to realize that I am enough. But sometimes, because I practice, I remember I am enough immediately. This past Friday, before my functional fitness class, a member came to me and asked me to pray in front of the class. Now, her heart, evidently, I could see in her face that her heart was heavy about what's going on in the world. And I said, okay, when people start getting fearful like this, I need to go ahead and do this. But she was in fear for her grandchildren, and she said that, the future of her grandchildren, the fate of her grandchildren, she doesn't know, and she's thinking like that. Okay, all right, cool, let's do this. So my first thought was, as she was explaining to me to please pray for us, was, why me? Here's why I asked that. How did she know she could even ask me a question like that? Right? Because that's not what I go there. So I don't have a badge on me that says I'm a minister, right? So could I have been thinking that at that moment when I thought that, could I have been thinking that I wasn't enough? So what I said to myself because of this talk, that I know I'm enough, I chose to stand in my spiritual arrogance. And I stood there and I knew that that prayer was going to make her heart easy. And I knew that that prayer was going to change my mind because you see, affirmative prayer is designed to change the mind of the one praying. Remember that? And it did so for me immediately. Before I even opened my mouth to speak, I knew I wasn't who I was in spirit right away. So the prayer changed her mind and it healed her heart as well. So after that prayer, the whole energy shook in the room. It just shifted. And what started out as a little heaviness, because I think it was a little heaviness in me that the fact that she would come to me and do that in front of the class like that. But you know what? It became fire. It shifted the whole energy in the room. Everybody was clapping like they had seen a celebrity come in or something like that. I will always remember this one thing. I am enough. That's the whole thing about it. Once you know who you are, you don't care who asks you to do anything that you do because you do it and you do it and you know who you are. See, everyone felt that prayer because I knew who I was and I was arrogant enough to do it. I'm telling you, the word arrogant, you want to take it as a negative thing. Do what you got to do with that word. But spiritual arrogant is one of the most powerful things you can be. Because the quantum feels, to me, as far as I'm concerned, feels every space that I'm in. Any place I go. Once I get this Rosedale back, I'm good to go. See, I used to have the hardest time back in the day, showing my confidence, showing my talent, and being all that. But you can rest assured of this. I know today I am enough. So with all those years that I put into this, you better know I know something. And science and spirituality has connected my life, connected my mind, connected my body and my spirit. And so I have evolved many times, but I have many more evolutions to go through. What about you? You know there is and there are many people, you might have a friend or two, many people who have great talents, who can do things well. And I tell you in a minute, when somebody asks me how do I do this personal training? I said, I'm great at what I do because I know I am. And because I hear the people that are talking about their healing. I know it. So do you think you're enough? Now, does it sound familiar to you that so many people out here in the world do not think they're enough with those awesome talents they possess? Or, like Alan and I talked about this morning, or the awesome talents they learn. Well, I learned that. It took me years to learn how to become a person. It took me years to learn about the body and how to use it. And it also, I'm hearing all these fabulous results. So I see I did not waste any of my time. You see, some people look at other people and they see people are teaching real well, or they may say, this person sings great. Like I would talk about Sonja, Reverend Sonja, she's a singer, and I say, oh, that's really cool. But I don't say I wish I could do it. But then people look at that and they say to themselves, oh, I wish I was that good. But wait a minute. I am a great spiritual teacher. I am a great, personal trainer. I am a great physical instructor. So wait a minute, I'm good at that. I'm seeing people rebuild bodies. So I need to stop and think before I start saying I want to be that, unless that is the next step on me, unless that's an evolution for me. See, we forget our own enoughness. And we forget that it isn't in copying somebody else's gifts. It is by sharing in our own gifts to other people. Let everybody know what our gifts are. Share them with people. That's what you do. Your gifts are not made to be locked inside of you. They were made because this is what the universe gave us so that we can give them. Timmy P sends letters to the prison. Oh, great. He's got a corporate job, but those things that you're doing for the universe, look out. See, when we wander outside of who we are, guess what happens? Our path starts to seem difficult because you're not who you are. If you're doing something you don't want to be doing, that's not you. People try to prove, they try to measure, they try to justify why they are not enough. And when, especially when you praise them. See, I could tell somebody, oh, that's a beautiful dress you have on. She'll tell me something like, oh, this dress is like 10 years. I didn't ask you that. Don't take back the gift. Don't take it back. Okay? So that's what the thing is. Being enough is simply knowing who you are and coming home to that every day. Like I said, I'm doing this several times a day, continuously coming home. Because home is being in my spiritual practices. Same for you. But one of the things I know, it is totally unacceptable to avoid spending that time in spiritual practice. Don't shortchange yourself and say, oh, I did something yesterday. I went outside and I trimmed my hedges. And when I'm trimming my hedges, that's a meditation. I don't even hear that one. That's something you have to do. Somebody say, well, I walk all the time because my walking, they think is doing something. No, that's something that you were given by the universe easily to do. What about when you say, my back was blah, 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 and now I took care of that and learning what works on my body and how to make it work, and I didn't need back surgery. Something like that. See, because without this coming home, stress comes in. When stress comes into the body, we got issues. Your organs are hit. Things are getting hit. Joints are getting hit. And people wondering, why do they have knee problems? Why do their backs are hurt? But see, that's what I want to begin with today. Because without making sure we're guiding ourselves home, we can't remember who we are. And then what we need to do is start justifying why we're not good enough. And that's not what's going to happen here. We have to return home to the oneness that's already in us. We don't have to look for it. We don't have to make up some cocktail. We just have to know. This way we can learn right off the bat how to return to that calm, how to return to that clarity that you need, and return to the peace that's already in here. That's home. That's home. It's no rocket scientist to explain all this. Now, I'm going to be honest. Sometimes I may say, we're guiding spirit, or spirit is guiding us. I might do that, but that's not quite it. The deeper truth really is that we are not separate from spirit. Why is that? Because we are it. The animals are it too. And they know this. That's why they don't worry about somebody looking down at them. What about those little slugs? That's slug, right? What about the squirrel going around getting the nuts? They're not worrying about you looking at them picking up the nuts because this is what they do, right? But you see, that power that we're one with, once we know that we're one with it, so therefore there's nothing that I can't do that I know I'm supposed to be able to do. See, we're home when we know we are it. Especially when we take the time to practice that oneness with it. See, so remember this. Spirit is not some distant force. It's an energy that lives in us. It beats our hearts. It actually takes each and every breath we take. Always. Not once in a while, but always. And we ignore that energy so much. We go to work, we do what we have to do for everyone else. We stop breathing. We stop our breathing practices, right? Then we stop listening to that fabulous power inside of us. And then we stop tending to what's going on in here. We start tending to what's going on out there. And stress rises. You see, our relationship with it, that spirit within us, feels scattered. then you forget who you are. But what the good news is after all of this is that we can always come back home. So that's what I'm talking about today, guiding ourselves home. And what I mean is that when we stop doing all of that stuff, doubt, self-doubt begins to slip in on us real easily. And that's what you want to do. Guess what else? Fear of the future starts to slip in on you. So now if you got fear of, like, if your future is looking murky to you, you ain't going to do nothing today. Stop looking at that. We start settling for what's going on around us. Well, this is what I got. I'll just deal with it and live with it. But recently, I've done all of that. I said to myself one day, man, you better get back with your group because your peeps, they got you and they got your back. So you need to talk to your people. You know, I have people that I trust very deeply that I can really say whatever I want to say with no judgment. And see, the moment we all said we will talk, guess what happened? Immediately, all the adrenaline calmed down in my body. What happened was they helped me to remember that I matter. Just like that slug matters. Yes, it does, because it does something for the universe. That's why they're here. The spiders, they're here for a reason. Okay, they matter. And so they really think I matter, and I think each and every one. I don't think they know how much they matter to me. So now, what the problem is it was whatever that problem that I was going through for a couple of weeks or whatever, I will never be able to explain it fully because I don't know what the problem was. All I know is I'm back, right? All I know is I stopped looking at what's out there, what's going on. I stopped that tendency to dwell on what's going on. Oh, the community looks like nothing's going on, and that's not my job to worry about that. I stopped trying to fix anything, and I just returned home to my practice. That's all I did. And so that's what I mean when I say we can always come back home. Because again, I'm back. I'm back after that one conversation and a couple of my coming home practices, if you will. I was home. See, that's a beautiful thing. And it feels good. It feels good. You don't have to prove your worth. You don't have to earn your place here. You matter just because you're here. And the reading said, you're breathing. And you are a being. You matter. But oh, how quickly we forget when you hear somebody in the world start saying that, oh, we need to go be doing this right now because you don't have this, you don't have that. You're not enough. When you start listening to all that stuff, you are not enough. You are not thinking that way. You see, remember this. If you buy into that noise without considering the cost you're going to pay with that oneness that you have, or with it, that relationship, you and spirit, that's one I'm talking about. Then spirit begins to wonder. But see, here's the thing. Now I'm going to bring a little bit of science because I love science. Science is how I get to know where I'm going or what's going on with me. Science is the one. I go see what happened and why they did this so I can practice that. So they say that stress. So first I got to know this so I can say, oh, I better do this. So stress activates our sympathetic nervous system. And that's when we have fight, flight, or freeze, right? So with fight, flight, or freeze, we got this cortisol and adrenaline, and it's pumping, and it's flooding the body, right? And when it's doing that, the body needs to move. But what it is, a lot of people won't move. And so when you don't move, that, oh my goodness, your organs, your mind, some people get Alzheimer's, some people get heart attacks, some people get kidney failures, whatever. But that body has to ease that pressure, and it's going in there. So why would we let that happen to us? Why would we do that? But see, when the stress isn't something that we can run from, like our beliefs, can't run from that. So you can't fight for that, you know. Oh, what about our thoughts? You can't do that. And what about the fact that you make up excuses why you didn't do your spiritual practice? You're not making up excuses to anybody in general, but to yourself. Oh, I didn't do any of those today. Then guess what happens? You don't do all of those things. Adrenaline, cortisol just sits there. And what it does, it becomes a danger to the organs. It becomes a danger up to anything about our bodies. And it'll get certain points of you that you're used to having pressure in. And everybody would think that, oh, I don't know, that's not all that. It could be blood pressure, whatever it is, heart attack, whatever it is. See, that's how the body gets into stress. Okay, so now that we understand, if we don't stop this wonderful fight, flight, or freeze syndrome, which is the sympathetic nervous system, we need to get a checkup from the neck up if we don't. That's all I'm trying to say. Get a checkup from the neck up if you don't do this stuff. Because here's the miracle. If spirit can wander, your spirit within can wander off because it's confused or you're upset or whatever, it can come home to also. See, science, this is the difference between science and spirituality. But it's not even a difference, but it is different, but it's not. Science shows us why it's important to slow down, shift your focus, and also release your tension. That's how your body begins to move into that parasympathetic. Now, I love the parasympathetic at night or when I'm first waking up because that's my rest, digest, and restore mode. I don't need to be in fight, flight, and the other thing I was saying. You're right? I don't need that. Fight, flight, or freeze. Because I look at those deer out there and I see them when I make a lot of noise and they go like that. That's what the adrenaline does for them, shows them what to do. See, everything has it. But now we know. Spirituality shows us why it's important to pause, listen, inward, right? And align with this presence within. Because we are it. It's not something far off from us. And see, your awareness, what happens, it returns to calm. Calm, C-A-L-M. It returns to trust and faith. So science and spirituality, different languages, but the same truth. And you can always come home. That's what they both say to us. So I saw how stress activates in my sympathetic nervous system too several times in my life. I mean a lot of times, okay? But I've seen that fight, flight, or freeze come in. But I usually don't freeze. I come out fighting because that's the personality in me. But that movement that I'm doing keeps me well. Because the fight, flight, or freeze, if I say, well, okay, you can turn around, turn the other cheek. Now that's a difference right there. Because now it sits in. So I'm glad that spirit made me that way, somebody who speaks up. Or I changed myself to be that, because I can tell you this, I've practiced so many years that I feel when cortisol and adrenaline is rising and starting to flood. So that's when I begin right here to lean on my science. I do my research to find out, why do you feel this or that, or a tightness here or whatever. It shows me what's really happening. And then I know what to do next, right? And then it's me getting the will to constantly do this by coming home and listening to that still small voice that's telling me, listen, and do what I say, because I listen now. So before my body gets into overdrive, I can tell, and I'm like, okay, listen, stop, halt. So I didn't get to the stressed out phase when I'm going through stuff these days. I don't get to that. But I used to get it there quick. And next thing you know, I'm all over the place, running. Oh my God, what do I do? My mind is running all over the place. But here, what happens is when I hear that I'm almost going into overdrive, it makes me come home a little early. And I get home early enough to start my practice. Even some days I say, okay, you're going to bed now. You're not waiting because you need to go in there. You need to get that rest, restore, and reactivate. You need that. So, and it's not always going to sleep. Sleep is not always the thing because you work very hard in sleep. I'm talking about relax. So I called on those people, and that helps me to relax because I know they got my back. Once I give it the problem that I have to them, they got my back. And so before anything begins to spiral out in stress, I'm alerted to come on home. What about you? So remember this about science and spirituality. Guiding ourselves home is easy when you know how. So why don't you find out how? Because that's exactly what this talk is about. Play it again. Listen to it again. Because coming home is why spiritual practice matters. Sometimes your path shifts and you thought, oh, I thought I was supposed to go there. No. But then sometimes it changes. But that's not doing anything. Don't worry about it. That's not failure. A lot of people think it's failure because it's not doing what they thought it was supposed to do. No, that's evolution. It takes courage to trust that inner nudge that we have in us. It takes courage to move into something when you're uncertain about the outcome. It takes courage. But here's the thing. We have to conquer life. Conquering life doesn't mean, oh, everything that I'm doing is easy and clean. I like to hear it when people tell me, new clients say, well, we've been eating clean for years. There's no such thing as eating clean. It's eating what works for you. Because you can think I'm eating this and this is the right thing to eat, and that's not what your system requires. So no, you don't know what that is, right? So it doesn't mean because I'm conquering life that it's easy or clean. Sometimes we have to roll up our sleeves and get our little hands a little dirty because now we are in the thick of things, you know? Stay out of that fight, flight, or freeze syndrome. Control that sympathetic nervous system and let it bring you back to parasympathetic nervous system. Because life's about moving forward. It's really about trusting the process. And it's also about listening to that inner nudge. Because a lot of us, we all get it, but see, a lot of us act like we didn't hear it or we don't know. Because you see, listening to that nudge again takes courage, it takes faith, and it takes trust. So I challenge you to build your courage, your faith, and your trust, because that's what it takes to be a conqueror. So listen to the song Conqueror by the Empire Cast. Whoa! I know Alan and I were going off back there, but it was just a reason for that. Because you see, trusting spirit isn't always neat and tidy. You get your hands dirty, but try telling me no, that I can't do something. And you'll know one thing about me is I am a conqueror. Sometimes the work of faith makes us feel a little dirty, but that's the courage that it takes to follow that inner nudge that we got. So that's why the song Conqueror speaks volumes for us today. So it reminds us of the courage and faith, that the trust that we are looking for and that we need to be so that we can really be true conquerors. So you guys are on fire today, let me just tell you. So with that, I think it's about time for me to give the awesome, wonderful gratitude shout outs to everybody. So no, it's not that time. Yes, it is that time. Well, you know how it gets when you just like that. So thank you, Alan, for being our awesome MC and working so hard on this community and bringing those quotes that just like rock the house, and your prayer. Can't forget that. See, your prayer be changing your mind, doesn't it, Alan? So opening and closing prayer was Dr. Wanda. She lit the stars right there. I saw the stars and the moons rise through her voice, and she loves to pray. I mean, in fact, she used to pray like that all since I known her, you know. So just thank you so much, Reverend Wanda, for being here doing that. And Reverend Sonja, your reading was read with such fabulousness, and you just spelled it all out just as plain as day. I love you. Thank you. And thanks, Melissa. Well, Melissa ain't here today, but that's okay because Timmy P's been the spotlighter and the greeting, and Alan, and we just have our team putting it together. Who knows? The guys are doing a good job. And Timmy P, again, thank you for the music, the announcements, and always, if somebody want to know what went on in this service, they can actually listen to him and Alan at the end. So thank you, Mo, for also emailing all of our uh, prayers out when we need them. So that's just a beautiful thing to happen. Now, before we start talking about that last song, yeah, we are. Because after the song, we're going to have Reverend Wanda pray us out, Dr. Wanda pray us out. But just know, today was all about guiding ourselves home. And remember that, guys, all during the week. Because if you can and you continue guiding yourselves home this week, you will remember that there is only one power, and that power is in us, and we are it. And once you get that to know that we are it, it heals us. It's the power that lifts us, and one power that we can always trust in, that we feel we can do, is the one that's with us and the one we're listening 24/7 back and forth to, right? That's that power. So we got one power, one life, one spirit, and it's ours. So with that being said, listen to the song One Power by Daniel Nahmod. One power. Okay, all right. I love that baby's picture right there. It was so nice. So it is the power in our breath. It is the power in our courage. It is the power in our faith. We got it, guys. It's there. Use it. With that being said, let me bring Dr. Wanda back over to close us out.
Thank you, Reverend Rosedale, and thank you for having me again today. It's always a great honor to be here and to be with each and every one of you. So I ask you right now to just take a deep breath. Just take a moment to take everything in and just incorporate it into your body. I am very grateful right here and right now. And I want to thank Spirit for this service because I'm grateful and thankful for Reverend Rosedale for opening herself each week as a conduit of truth and love, and today helping us to remember who we are and to realign with one another and with the world around us. I know there's no separation. I know that we are always one. I know and I affirm that we feel at home in our bodies, that these body temples are sacred dwellings of spirit, unshakable. Our spirits are unshakable. Nothing can pull us away from this uniquely built home for each one of us. Today, we have been recharged, and this renewal carries us into the week ahead with strength, peace, and joy. And as we look around us, we honor the great circle of life, the creepy ones of the earth, the four-leggeds, the feathered, the finned, and the two-leggeds, each moving in its own place and purpose, not comparing, not doubting, simply living its truth. And so too do we, cemented in our individual purpose, expressing love, joy, compassion, and that deep sense of oneness that binds us all together. When we remain in the present moment, it's called the present for a reason. We are living the party of life, and the party doesn't start until we show up. Life is not a competition. And like I said, life does not show up. Life does not start until we show up. And so our only purpose in life is to show up fully cemented, fully aware, fully awake, and realizing that we are home. We are always home, or wherever we are home. So I see only light. Our only purpose is to shine, to show up and shine. So I'd like you to say with me, my only purpose is to show up and shine. Let's do it one more time. My only purpose is to show up and shine. So it's with gratitude overflowing that I return this service to Reverend Rosedale, who always, always shows up and shines, and don't ever let anyone dull your sparkle. And so it is. Aho.
Oh, that's fabulous. Ooh, my only purpose is to show up and shine. Thank you, Dr. Wanda. Whoa. Yes. I got my hand on the reins of the horse carriage and it's out of control taking me across this meadow. Yes, indeed. So, as we get our time all wrapped up together and start to guide ourselves home this week, let's think about, before we leave this sacred place, how to start guiding ourselves home. So, home is not just somewhere out there, remember? It's right here. It's flowing in and through us. It's uniting all of us together, too. This is home for our community. This is home for each and every one of us. So, it's already in your body. The universe is already responding, always reflecting, always supporting you on your journey or your path. So until we meet again, let's spend some time this week. And Alan said it in the prayer, spend that time in your time. Oh, that was so fabulous. So spend your time with these powerful thoughts and beliefs that you have. So keep on guiding yourselves home this week. And so it is.